Hi, my name's Rebecca. I'm a criminal justice major here at the University of Hartford. I was born in the Democratic Republic of Congo in 2001.
When did you come to America? How old were you? And where did you first move to when you arrived?
I first came in June 2009. I moved to South Burlington, Vermont, and I was 7.
What were the reasons for coming?
Primarily, the first reason was my dad's job. He used to work for the United Nations throughout Africa, and then I think he was offered another position here, so we moved for that. And also, my parents decided to move the entire family here because it was better education. Like, for example, my mom has a degree in psychology, from Africa, but she can't use it here to get a job because it's not really recognized. So if you have a degree from the United States and you go to any other country, they'll take it more seriously, I guess. It wasn't specifically what happened to my family, but at the time there was a lot of political corruption and war. I didn't necessarily see any of it or experience it, but for my parents, they just didn't think that a country like that was the right place to raise your kids. Our neighborhood, we lived in a good neighborhood, but before that we lived in another neighborhood, and that was really bad. You had to lock your doors. We had a bar that locked the door after you locked the door, because just anyone come to the house and just raid. It was just really bad. And then we moved to a better part, which we didn't experience that often. And we had guards, so
The guards?
yeah, because my dad worked for the United Nations. Yeah, guards.
So, what kind of violence were other people experiencing that you didn't necessarily experience?
I mean, all sorts of violence. I mean, there's rape and all, it's violence.
What?
Police officers, my parents were always no, stay clear of the police, don't go near them. Police officers were necessarily looking for ways to feed their family. So my mom would be driving and they would stop us, and it wasn't necessarily because my mom was doing anything wrong. It's just because they stop you, you give them money to get food or something, and they let you go. There's so much corruption in with the government. They're not really giving them money, so they had to get the money somewhere. They had to figure out how to get money.
What was it like in school when you first came versus back in the Congo?
So I was 7 when I moved here. I went into 3rd grade, and the first challenge was mostly the language barrier. I'm fluent in French, so I didn't know much English. Its teachers here were more relaxed. In Africa, they were more strict. It was in Africa, if your teachers walked into the room, you had to stand up and sit down after they told you to, as a sign of respect. And you had to ask before you went to the bathroom. You couldn't be gone for a certain amount of time. They were really strict. If you were too loud, the teachers would punish you. They would beat you. But here it's kids can just throw tantrums whenever they want.
Because of the language barrier, were you behind in school at all?
Math, I was not behind. I was actually ahead in mathematics, but spelling and reading, that was hard because I didn't know English. French and English are different, so the way we pronounce things, we roll our R's, and you don't really roll your R's here. So I did have an accent at first, and I was young, so for my parents, it's been hard for them to learn English, but I was young, so I picked it up pretty quickly. My spelling and writing was not obviously I wasn't at the same level as other 5th graders. I would say about 5th grade I could hold a conversation and understand what was being asked fluently. Probably by 7th grade I was fluent.
Did kids treat you differently when you came here in school?
I don't think they necessarily treated me differently. They were accepting. They were just curious, just to know different. They didn't treat me differently. They were just nice, and they were just
respectful.
Yeah, trying to learn, and just trying to get me involved, because I didn't speak the language, so I couldn't really communicate with them. I was probably in my elementary school, I was probably one of 8 black kids. Okay, so the process overall, it takes 5 years to become a full citizen, at least for my parents, because you go through the whole process, and you talk to the lawyers and everything, and then they give you your green cards, and then after that you have to be in the country for at least 5 years, and then you apply for citizenship and to become a U.S. citizen. And so like it has to be adults. So like I didn't have to do it, but like my parents, after 5 years that we lived here, they had to take the citizenship test, and then like once you pass it, you're a U.S. citizen.